Heroscape Wave 3 is finally here, and I've got the figure expansions released for February. This is some more polar bears, the Hellforge Mandukor, and Sonlen Halushia. So same as I did in my last video, we're going to look at these one at a time. So let's start with the Hellforge Mandukor. Here is the front of the box. We've just got a picture of the unit itself. This is the premium painted edition, as it says down here. So we will be evaluating the paint job on these. This one alone is $35, which is kind of expensive for a single figure. Obviously it is a large figure, although what's interesting to me is that this figure comes on a single base, so we'll see how that feels. Here is the back of the box. Not too much going on here, just standard information about the figure, and you can see the card here as well. So let's go ahead and open it up. Just got a little sticker tab on the side here. It looks like they have definitely stopped doing the full shrink wrap on these, which is fine. It doesn't really make a difference. Saves plastic, honestly. So we've got a tray on the inside. And then here we have the figure. And this is actually a lot smaller than I expected. Man, for $35. $35 for just that. I know that everybody's been comparing Heroscape to Warhammer prices now, saying that it's still not close to that. And, I mean, I don't know that that really matters. Like, this is $35. And even the unpainted is $25, so, I mean, it's not like, you know, painting this was only $10. Yeah, I don't know, the paint job's kind of mediocre. I mean, it's just all one tone. I mean, you've got just this orange hue all over it. And then you've got some silver highlights, and there is like a wash on it. But man, maybe I need to start doing my own painting just to save some money on this, because I don't know. I do love being able to just, you know, buy it and immediately field it and not have to worry about painting it, because I know that as soon as I have to start painting stuff, I'm going to get a huge backlog. Yeah, I don't know. Let's take a look at the card. So it's got 6 life, 4 move, 1 range, 4 attack, 4 defense, so all around pretty good stats for 130 points. It's got Blast Furnace 15. Before moving, each time it moves onto a space, you must roll the 20-sided die for each figure adjacent, so even friendly figures, if you roll 15 or higher, it receives 1 wound. Lava resistant is not affected, which makes sense. So, I mean, that's a pretty good ability. It's a good way to get around defense dice since you're just putting wounds. Feed the Forge. We'll roll the 20-sided die if it's destroyed. Figures an Ice Neck, Soul War, destructible object. You may remove a wound marker from this card. Okay, so it's healing itself as it's eating. Nice. Yeah, and it's got Ice Neck Advance, so we're finally getting some more Ice Neck units. Yeah. I mean, it does seem like a cool unit. I just, man. $35 is what I paid for this. That's a pretty tall ask. That's all I can say. So next up here we have Knight Primus Adelbern and Ordo Borealis. These are our second squad of bear figures and then our second bear hero. So obviously we'll have to compare it to our previous bears that we got in the Age of Annihilation Master set. But let's go ahead and get this open first. On the back, same as what we saw on the Hellforge, just pictures of the minis and the cards. Some information about what you get in the package. Looks fine. Again, this is the painted edition, all of these are. So here are our minis, here are our cards. Let's take a look at our guys here. So the color scheme on these guys looks very similar to our previous offerings for polar bears. We've got Night Irene here. Night Irene's a little bit bigger. The Adelbern's got this pretty cool club looking thing. My club here is a little bit curved. I mean, you definitely see that in original Heroscape as well, so I don't really care that much. Then we've got the Frostclaw Paladins to compare in size. These are about the same size. Here is Adelbern. Paint job seems pretty good. Again, these are pretty simplistic colorings. You've got that white undercoat. You've got the silver detailing, some tiny blue highlights, and then just like a dark wash over it. But, I mean, it works. That's, an armored polar bear, I guess, would look like that. So, pretty cool. Here we have one of the squad figures for Ordo Borealis. Sorry, my lighting's being weird. Yeah, I mean, same paint scheme. I feel like these are going to be all similar, which makes sense. They're squad. You'd want them to look similar. I like the little harpoon guns here. Those are pretty cool. Especially this guy. You got the shoulder mount. I've got some blue bleed onto the cannon there. A little disappointing, but I mean... So, I mean, again, these figures here, pre-painted, was $65. Again, that's just a lot of money for 4 miniatures. Even unpainted, this would be $45. That feels like a lot. But yeah, I mean, Heroscape is back and it is expensive as ever. So let's take a look at our cards here. We've got the squad card for Ordo Borealis, a 3-man squad. Reload, if an Ordo Borealis does not move, you may add 6 to its range value for the rest of that turn, so that's pretty cool. If they're standing still, they have 7 range. They have 5 move, which is pretty fast for a large squad like this, a large 6 squad. They also have 2 life, which is great. I love seeing more 2 life squads. They have a attack of 3 and a defense of 4, so pretty beefy. I imagine that these are going to perform pretty well. We definitely saw that the Frostclaw Paladins felt like they were punching above their weight in contemporary and historic formats for Heroscape, so it's cool to have more bears. I don't know if they needed the support right about now. It's kind of interesting to me that they would release this squad so early on in the lifespan of Heroscape when there's definitely other units and other factions that need more support right now. But, I mean, if that's just how it shook out, that's fine with me. These are pretty cool looking units. 110 points there. There's a better picture of them. Then we have Adelbern, and Adelbern is just a beast here. You've got 8 life, 6 move, 1 range, 5 attack, 3 defense, 150 points, and then crushing blow. So after moving and before attacking, you may inflict 1 wound on a smaller medium squad figure or a smaller medium common hero adjacent to Knight Primus Adelbern. So, I mean, again, that just gets around defense dice. You're able to put wounds on things that might have really good defensive stats. Thankfully, you can't just bust through something like Deathwalker or something, since he's large, or at least 9,000 is. 7,000 might be medium, so you could just destroy him. I'd have to double check on that. Either way, it's a pretty cool ability. I'm seeing, it seems like there's a lot more of these auto wound type abilities that kind of get around defense dice, which is interesting. We'll have to see how that affects the meta long term. Pretty cool guys, though. Definitely good units. Again, I feel like trying to get these on sale and then painting them yourself is the real way to go if you're trying to do modern Heroscape on more of a budget, because $65 for these guys is kind of nuts. Same as the Hellforge being $35 for 1 unit. Just feels like too much, especially in the fact that we get the master set that has 20 units, including like a giant dragon. You get Raylan, you get a ton of squads, and that's only like 225, so the figures are maybe half of that. So I mean, that's a way better deal for the amount of units that you get. I feel like I'm not saying anything new at this point that Heroscape is expensive. Let's go to my favorite one, which is everybody's favorite, Sonlen, and he's back riding his dragon. This is like such fan service, but it's incredible. I don't care. Like, I love Sonlen. He was one of my favorites from way back in the day. He's so versatile, and I just love the high fantasy theming. Just a really cool unit to have return, and in such a cool way. We also have Halushia, which does look interesting. Now, the main thing I'm going to be looking at for these ones is definitely those double base, the peanut bases. They've been really, I was going to say hit or miss, but honestly, they've just been misses for me. Like, they've always had some form of warping to a point where, like, the unit is slightly unstable, and I've had to dunk them in boiling water and then freeze them to try and get them to stay in a good shape. But even that is not permanent from my experience. They always try to warp back to their original molding, which is just really disappointing that for the price that we're paying on these, that they haven't resolved the base issues, considering that original Heroscape never had that issue at all. So anyways, we'll find out what we have in store for us here. yeah, let's just go ahead and open it up. All right, here they are. Well, gosh, immediately disappointed. I mean, look at this. Look at that. Like, what are we doing here? $65 for 2 figures. $65. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? At this point, it has been, what's it been, 6 months since New Heroscape's been in production, and they're still shipping product like this? That's genuinely unacceptable. That's just not okay for a $65 product, for it to come out looking like that. Even for a $45 product, if these were unpainted, that is not acceptable. There's just no other way around it. Like, that's not okay. Okay. So moving on from that, the paint job, honestly, this looks really good. I like the wash on the dragon. Raylan's Mandukor, the orange one, kind of came off looking a little cartoony because it didn't have enough of a dark wash. This one definitely has the nice depth, especially in the wings there, like the webbing on the wings. That looks a lot like the original Sonlen on his dragon. This and the figure itself looks great. Really no complaints about the paint job on these. This is definitely like worth the paint job. For what would it be, $10 a figure? Like, that's, I would pay somebody $10 to do that for sure, and just not have to deal with the hassle of, you know, breaking out all the paints, doing all that mixing, doing all the washing. Even Halushia here, I really like this deep green that's just kind of like all over. He's definitely got like a brown you know, horse body there, but then there's just this sort of like greenish tint that's probably hard to see. My phone camera's not the best here. But yeah, I mean, he's just a good looking figure. The main issue here is just the base plate. I don't know, like $65 still feels like too much for this, even if the bases were, you know, flat, if they sat flat. Definitely, I couldn't recommend this with the bases the way they are. That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate, because I really want Heroscape to succeed, and I'm definitely going to keep buying it regardless, because I'm just in too far deep. But I really wish I could recommend these to people and be excited about it. But if I, you know, tell somebody who's new to Heroscape, like, hey, go get these 2 units for $45 unpainted, and they're going to come out looking like this, you know, like, really just get into Warhammer at that point. Like, go do something else with your money. That's crazy. Go buy an entire video game for $65. All right, so let's look at the cards themselves. I know I keep jumping back and forth between like really disappointed and like super excited. And that's just how I am as a person. You know, I'm excited about these things, but I really do care about Heroscape, and so I want it to succeed. And so seeing product like this, priced like this, it's disappointing, and it worries me. Okay. So Halushia has Command Familiar, so he can move some familiars, which is good. That's a ability that I want to see more of, so that we can get more familiar synergy in upcoming sets. Rouse the Glade. Figures adjacent to a tree or bush. Roll 1 fewer combat die when defending against Halushia's attacks. That's pretty cool. And that's good because he has a range of 1, so you're not going to be able to take away somebody's range buff from being next to a bush. That's really cool, though. I like that. Ride by a special attack, move normally, 4 spaces, 3 times. So you just get multiple attacks as you run by, it looks like. That's pretty cool. I like that. He's got 7 moves, so he's incredibly fast. He's got 7 life, so he's pretty strong. 3 defense, pretty squishy, I guess, there. 120 points, though, with 5 attack. I mean, he's definitely going to be able to charge through and break through some lines, which is really cool. I like the theming on that. Very fast. Or if he needs to just break open a line of like squad figures, he can do that with the 3 times 3 attack on some squad figures, which is cool. And also get some movement out of it, which is really nice. Then we have Sonlen. He has got 6 life, 6 move, 6 range, 4 attack, 3 defense. That's pretty good. His range and attack are decent, in line with the original Sonlen. His 6 move is very nice, especially with flying there. 3 defense is a little low, especially for 170 points, but let's see his abilities. So Healing Wing 13, you may choose a figure with 1 or more wounds that he had passed over. Oh, 1 or more, so you could heal as many people as you passed over. Roll a 20-sided die, 13 or higher, remove 1. So it's a way easier chance to heal, which is cool. And it's also after moving, or like during movement, whereas the original Sonlen had to be before movement. You had to heal. So if you weren't in range of somebody, you couldn't get into range that turn. You'd have to set yourself up for the next turn. So that's pretty versatile. I really like that. The only downside is that he can't heal himself, which, you know, obviously is not as good as the previous one, but I think the ability overall is more powerful. He's also got Dragon Assault. He attacks an adjacent figure or destructible object. He may attack 1 additional time. If you use flying special power this turn, roll 1 additional combat die on the first attack. That's pretty cool. So I'm really excited for Sonlen as a unit. I'm excited that he's back. He looks great. And really, my disappointment is with these double bases. I'm going to go try to ice bath them, boiling water into ice bath them, see if that helps. Although judging by the units that I've done in the past, I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. It might help a little bit, but I mean, come on, Renegade. Give us some solid bases like the originals, you know? Or at least allow us to like cut these off the bases and put them on solid bases, since I know that that's not legal for tournament play. Thanks for watching. That's the Wave 3 figures for Heroscape. I will be reviewing the terrain once I get it in. My LGS doesn't have it in yet, and since I have plenty of ice and swamp terrain, I didn't feel the need to order it from Renegade. So once they get it in, I'll pick it up and review that as well.